It's Tuesday and it's time for Falcon Focus. It's time for Falcon Focus, episode number 108. This being our 23rd episode here in season number 4, our 11th here in semester number 2. It's hard to believe, but this is the second to last episode of this 2022-23 school year. My name is Matt Menzel. We focus this week in segment number 2 on men's lacrosse. I'll be joined by a senior midfielder in Noah Brandt as the Falcon men's lacrosse team begins the NAC tournament tonight, a 7 o'clock start. It's a semifinal against Illinois Tech. But up first, our focus on softball, and happy to be joined by senior outfielder Ashley Zappa. The Falcons once again in a prime spot to win the NAC regular season championship and looking to stay perfect in conference play. As of right now, as we tape this, slated to play at Benedictine today, a makeup that from Sunday. Ashley, thanks a lot for your time. And you look at softball, the sport of softball. When did you first start playing softball and why?
I started when I was 5, and I really started because I hated soccer. So I thought my dad was like, let's just try something else, and softball was it, and I never looked back.
Did you start right away playing in the outfield, or is that something that's developed over time?
That's something that's developed over time. I pitched a lot when I was younger, and then all through high school, and a little bit here, but then outfield was kind of my home.
What are some of the challenges to playing the outfield?
Definitely the wind has not been our friend this year. We have to adjust a lot with which direction it's flowing and how hard it's going, but also the different terrains. In our conference, a lot of people have the turf outfield, but then also they have some grass outfields too, so kind of adjusting. And it seems that we keep going every other game, which grass, turf.
Have you gotten used to now, having been around the conference the last number of seasons, used to how the ball plays at certain fields and maybe how close you are to the fence and the warning track and all that?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely nice to have a home advantage this year. Not so much as last year, but we definitely learn about what terrains we like best and how the ball plays on each one.
You mentioned you like softball over soccer. Did you play any other sports besides those two growing up?
Yeah, basketball and volleyball. I actually played volleyball until my freshman year of high school, and then I chose softball from there.
I saw in your bio you graduated 6th in your class in high school, which is outstanding. When you look back at your success in the classroom, and I'm sure success is now in the classroom, what do you point at and say this is key to being successful, not only juggling your academics, but also your extracurriculars?
I think dedication and like knowing your goals and knowing where you came from and where you want to go. We definitely have a lot of challenges in life, not just in softball. So keeping in mind what you actually want to do and what's your end goal and how you want to get there, that's kind of the path, hopefully the key to life.
Now, when you look at your success both on and off the field, has it come naturally to you, or does it take a lot of work?
Oh, it takes a lot of work. I'm definitely not the one that just doesn't have to study for a test. I definitely put in a lot of work through it and many, many hard nights and lots of tears, but it's all worth it in the end.
So does this become a tougher time in the school year where all of a sudden the regular season's winding down, the NAC tournament around the corner, perhaps the NCAA tournament the team gets there, but on top of that, the school year is winding down.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a lot to juggle this year. Having finals at the end of the conference tournament, it's a little bit harder for some of the underclassmen to try to balance all those sorts of things. But as you progress, like senior year, you don't have as many, so it's not as hard to balance it, but it's definitely hard to balance internships and other things like that too.
So how about for you? So you graduate top 6 in your class. Now it's Concordia. Why and how did you end up at Concordia?
It's a nice distance from home, not too far, but not too close that my parents could come visit me every single day. But also the softball aspect of it, and then every time I came to visit, it was just the family atmosphere that I really wanted to continue.
And you wanted to play softball at this level.
Yep.
So your first, full collegiate softball season came in 2021 following COVID and all that came with the pandemic. How did you feel that first collegiate season went for you?
I think it was a lot of adjustments. Obviously, COVID kind of impacted how we looked at life, but also how we looked at all of our opportunities. So actually getting a first season was a sigh of relief that we actually made it, and then I made it with all my friends, but also like, wow, the college world is very different than what you'd expect.
How about softball-wise, when you talk about adjustments, what was maybe for you the biggest difference going from what you were used to now playing at this level?
Better competition. High school didn't really have. We weren't the best team. We kind of went through the motions a little bit, and it's nice to actually be on a winning team, and so we have a lot of positivity around there.
You hit your first career home run at the collegiate level during that 2021 campaign. It was back on May 8th. It was part of a 3-hit performance. What do you remember about that first collegiate softball home run?
I just remember it was so special. I definitely had tears of joy in my eyes, but then also my teammates too, and seeing how much it meant to them, and the level, the point of I guess maybe hitting in that moment, and rising up to those pressures. It was just so surreal.
That one coming against MSOE, and you've hit a few home runs throughout your time here at Concordia. When you hit that ball, do you know what's going out most of the time? Does it feel good coming off the bat, or is it more of a shock that, hey, that went over the fence?
I would say the first one was definitely a shock. It was at Marion, which has a deep fence, so it felt good off the bat, but you can really just never know with the different fields. But the one definitely in Arizona this year, that one I knew was gone for sure.
And you talk about Marion, again, going back to just the unique times, they hosted the NAC North Division tournament back when they had the divisional format in 2021. So you got to see a lot of the North Division teams on a fairly regular basis. As I mentioned, MSOE become one of the big rivals. So from a college softball standpoint, you talked about just all about adjustments. How about from a confidence standpoint? Has it taken time to develop that confidence, or did you come in with a great deal of confidence?
Oh, yeah, I think it's definitely been developed for sure. Kind of like I said, nothing really comes easy for me, and I definitely am my own worst enemy. So coming from a place where, like in high school and on your travel ball team, you're always the best one, or if not the number two. And then college, everyone is that number one or number two. So kind of putting yourself in a humbling perspective and realizing that, hey, everyone is just as good as you are. You have to fight for your spot 10 times harder.
How about now with, you get more playing time, more at-bats? Where's the conference level at now versus where it was when you came in?
I think it's definitely higher towards the end of senior year here, and also just playing loose helps with being confident, knowing that this is my one last ride, that you just got to give it all you got, but that it's really, at the end of the day, you just kind of have to relax and let it be. It's muscle memory.
Well, take us through that 2022 season last spring. It's a season in which the Falcons not only won the regular season championship, but won the tournament championship, got to the NCAA tournament. How much fun was that whole journey?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Once again, tears of joy. I don't know if we've seen so much emotion out of that team than when we won the conference tournament at Aurora last year. And it was just a long time coming, and we had quite an experience last year just with being on the road all the time, and we definitely met that adversity and took the dub there. And then the bus ride to Cleveland was quite a little bit of a surprise that we were going so far, but we embraced every moment of it.
Have to feel it was a sigh of relief, all of a sudden you get through that NAC tournament, because it seems like that had been the obstacle for so many years for this program. It's great regular seasons, but it's tough, isn't it? That NAC tournament, we see a team a third, a fourth time in the same season, sooner or later, from whether it be a opposing hitting standpoint, they start to catch up to pitching, one bad mistake, and they can jump all over. It's hard to win that NAC tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, too, the first year after COVID, we played MSOE and other teams almost 7 times. Yeah. There's only so much that we can learn from each game before people do start catching on. So we do have to kind of use all the different tools in our toolbox in order to actually come out with those wins.
You mentioned Cleveland. That's where the NCAA tournament was for the Falcons. What was that? How was that experience, comparable or different from what you guys were used to prior to just playing in the NAC tournament during the regular season, all that?
I think that we came in with a lot of confidence, and that even though it was a different location, it's still the same game, different opponent, but we know how to play, and we just have to trust ourselves. So kind of going to Cleveland was more of an experience, and we were just understanding that this is supposed to be fun, and what else can we do from it? And we know that we can compete with some of the best teams out there, so we didn't have too much of a different mentality from conference tournament to regionals.
And for you in 2022, again, got more playing time, more at bats, your batting average jumped up 21 points. Do you feel like your game took that next step from 2021 to 2022?
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely comes from experience and confidence, but also we put in a lot of work. Coach Aaron here in the weight room has definitely worked us very hard in order to get our bodies prepared physically, but then also mentally. We did a lot of recovery time and stretching and things like that we're actually able to be at our prime body state.
Aaron Siekman is no joke. I
Yeah.
mean, he puts you to work, and you better follow that plan and plan to success. And softball team certainly following suit, and what a great 2023 campaign it's been so far. You look at this season, and again, the majority of the roster back from last year's NCAA tournament team. What's been the mindset this year? Has it been maybe an unfinished business type mindset? You know, you got to the NCAA tournament, now you want to get to that next level. What's the mindset?
Yeah, I think it definitely is that we know our potential, and I think that last year we maybe got a little burned out towards the end, just with a lot of traveling and school was stressful, and there was a lot of up in the airs. This year has definitely been a little bit more consistent. The weather is not always our friend, but we've definitely been able to sustain it a little bit longer. So I think that we do have some unfinished business, and as we say, that it's just a business trip. We gotta get our stuff done and get out.
And the nice thing is, you and I were talking about this before we started taping, and you've referenced it too in some of your answers. You guys have had a full home schedule this year.
Yes, it's definitely been very nice.
As of right now, the team 11-0 at Catalyst Park, and as of now scheduled to play two more there Sunday at Senior Day against the Alverno College Inferno at 12 noon start to that doubleheader. We mentioned, as of now, as we tape this, the thought is the Falcons will play later today at Benedictine, a makeup from Sunday. The team sits with 28 victories, 3 defeats, a perfect 17-0 in conference play, 119 straight. Later on, the latest national rankings should come out, but again, as we tape this, the team is ranked 15th in the nation for a second straight week, also number 1 in the region. Has any of this success this season surprised you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that this year it's been surprising, but it is kind of crazy and insane to think that all of us just came together from all these different places, and that now we're all best friends, and a small school in the middle of Wisconsin is one of the best teams in the nation. I'm not surprised from what we did last year, but I am surprised that it's all came together so well.
When I start rattling off, 17-0 in conference play, winners of 19 consecutive, 15th in the nation, do you think about, as a team, maybe you personally, do you think about that stuff, or do you just go out there and play softball and then you'll reflect later on?
I don't, me personally, I don't really think about it too much. And I think that every week as a team, we definitely celebrate those wins.
Sure.
Celebrate, when the rankings do come out, and noticing, where we are, and kind of the teams that we've played throughout the top 25 and stuff like that. But I don't think we take it too much to heart, and we don't add it as a pressure situation, but as an additive that, hey, we can keep going and do better.
Well, you bring up pressure. Is there pressure there? To duplicate what happened last year? Or do you guys not think about that?
I don't really think that we think about it too much. We're definitely playing a lot looser this year, and just trusting ourselves, trusting our bodies and our coaches, and we know how to play. But for a lot of us, like you mentioned, a lot of us came back, and we're all we know how to play with each other and trust each other, and I think that's the biggest part.
For you so far through 30 games, a couple of home runs, 15 RBIs, you've scored 26 times. What's been working for you at the plate?
I think just a nice, calm approach, not trying to do too much, swinging too hard, and gripping the bat too tight it causes you not to do very good things. So just trying to stay positive and think about anything else but softball when I'm at the plate, and hopefully good things will happen.
Obviously, some big games now around the corner, not only this week to wrap up the regular season, but going into the NAC tournament next weekend, hosted by Aurora. But to this point, is there a game or two, is there a highlight that stands out from this season?
I think definitely the doubleheader against MSOE. That's always a big one. We definitely have a very high rivalry with them in past years, and the first game was very close, 2-1, and kind of realizing that defense has been winning games this year. Our pitchers have been putting the ball where we can get some good outs, and the outfielders especially have been making some great diving plays and moving around, and everyone's been communicating well. So I think that one just kind of highlighted everything that we've been working on.
That was a lot of fun early April out here at Catalyst Park. Great day for softball, and again, a nice sweep of the Raiders. Your thoughts on the road ahead? So if you play today at Benedictine, Friday is at Aurora, mentioned Sunday is Senior Day at Catalyst Park against the Alverno College Inferno, and then the NAC tournament next week. Guess your thoughts. I know you take it one game at a time, but just, bare bones, your thoughts on what's ahead.
I think we're just trying to finish strong. I don't really think that we're going in with too high of expectations, and I think that as long as we're finishing to the best of our abilities and that we just do all that we can do and we'll be successful, I think that the games today against Benny and Aurora on Friday are definitely going to be tough competition, but we just got to stay focused and know that we can do it.
To wrap it all up for you as a senior, what's your major and what's next here after softball?
I'm an exercise physiology major with a minor in psychology, so I'm going to be doing cardiac rehab next year. That's what my internship is at right now, and so I'll be headed home and in a hospital somewhere.
Nice. So you got a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
On top of softball.
Yes, very much so.
Well, Ashley, appreciate your time. All the best this next week and going into the NAC tournament.
Thank you very much.
That's Ashley Zampin again. The Falcons will be back at Catalyst Park. You can see them in person Sunday, 12 noon, against the Alverno College Inferno. It is senior day as the Falcons look to knock off Alverno. When we come back, our focus will shift to men's lacrosse, and we'll be joined by senior midfielder Noah Brandt as they prepare for a NAC tournament semifinal at Illinois Tech.
Since 1978, Lutheran Church Extension Fund has had the humble privilege of supporting the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod in fulfilling its mission of sharing the gospel.
Thanks to our faithful investors, we provided thousands of church workers, congregations, schools, and organizations with the resources they need to reach more people with the saving name of Christ. It's what we do.
Because our greatest joy comes from seeing LCMS Ministries and her workers thrive, we will continue to make precious resources available, both today and far into the future. It's our promise to you.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund.
We are Lutheran Church Extension Fund. We want to be part of your great and exciting work.
Welcome back to Falcon Focus, episode number 108, our 23rd episode here in season number 4, our 11th here in semester number 2. And again, a reminder, next week will be our final episode here for the 2022-23 school year. But up first, we wrap up this edition by focusing on men's lacrosse, a big one tonight, NAC tournament semifinal at Illinois Tech. That will get underway at 7 o'clock. And happy to be joined by senior midfielder Noah Brandt. Noah, NAC tournament, as mentioned tonight. You guys just saw Illinois Tech to wrap up the regular season on Saturday. That was a tough 11-7 loss. When you look back at that game, what do you feel is the difference in that outcome?
Looking back, it definitely, I think we all left with a pretty sour taste in our mouth for sure. But, I think yesterday we had really, really focused, not only practice, but film session as well. So I think coming into today, I think we're very well prepared for today.
Is there a plus to playing the same team back-to-back? They're fresh in your mind?
I think so, because, we just played them Saturday. So, we definitely learned. We watched film yesterday on our game from Saturday, so we learned from our mistakes. So, going into today, I think we, again, are feeling more prepared. So,
and obviously a hungry Falcon team to avenge what happened on Saturday. At the moment, the Falcons 11 victories and 5 defeats, finishing 6-2 in the NAC, tied for second. How do you feel overall Saturday was standing? How do you feel the team's playing right now going into the tournament?
I think we're definitely playing some of our best lacrosse that we've played all year for sure. So,
and a lot of tight games, finding ways to win a lot of those close games. And you look, one of the schools that qualified for the NAC tournament, a number 4 seed is Benedict, and that's a team you guys were able to beat in triple overtime, 11-10 back on the 8th of April. How wild was that game to be a part of?
It was really scary, but coming out with a win. It was definitely a well-fought win. Going into 3 overtimes, which was crazy, but I was just really happy to be a part of it. Came up with some huge face-off wins in the 3 overtimes, so it felt awesome to beat a team that has consistently always been good since I've been here. So.
And when you talk about beating a team like Benedictine, how much fun is it to be involved in those type of games against Benedictine, MSOE, against Aurora? The team, it seems like every year are right there battling with the Falcons for top spots.
Yeah. It's always been a battle every single year that we've played them. They come out with a win, but we come out with a win too. So, it's just always a back-and-forth battle with all those teams. So.
Mentioned the 1-goal Benedictine victory in triple overtime. That's one of the 3 games the Falcons have won by a single goal this season. MSU, another one of those. Just last week atop the parking garage down in Milwaukee. How intense do those games get when they're that close and they go down to the wire?
Yeah, they get really, really scary. You just praying that, you just come up with that extra goal. I mean, especially with MSOE, we scored with, we were trying to run down the clock as close as we could get, and we came up with it, which was awesome. So,
how do you guys go about slowing down a team like Marion, who all of a sudden was trying to play comeback? They got back to within 1. Obviously, Falcons won the game by a goal, but how scary are those games where you have a team like Marion that's hungry and all of a sudden they're building momentum?
Yeah, I mean, that's also very scary too. I think coming into those games, you just have to respect your opponents too. So.
And you touched on this with your face-off. He's a face-off specialist. In those close games, possession can be everything, and gaining possession. When you look at face-offs, how do you approach the face-off?
There's a lot of things. Obviously preparation going into that game. You look at watching film, their tendencies, what their face-off guy usually does, when he's winning them, like what does he do when he's winning them? If he's losing them, what does he do?
Are you watching his feet, or what are you watching?
Yeah,
when
I watch
film?
Usually I watch like his hand movements. Like there's different types of ways to win a face-off. You have like your traditional clamp. There's many other things. But yeah, that's usually one of the top things that we watch for. So
you've had some fantastic face-off performances. Hanover, that was a game earlier this season. Jeff Roberts, the first Concordia men's lacrosse head coach, now the head coach at Hanover. That was back on the 16th of April. You went 16 for 19. You had an 18 for 24 face-off winning percentage there against Marion back on the 11th of April. When you look at the face-off, when did you first start taking face-offs?
I started taking face-offs when I was 7th or 8th grade, I think it was. 7th
or 8th grade.
Yeah, so I've been doing them for quite a while. So
going into it, did you know what you were doing, or was it
no,
more?
No, not at all. It was just kind of that thing where it's like, oh well, we need a guy to take face-off. So I was like, sure, I'll try it out. So see what it's like. So
and it's worked.
Yeah.
Very well, and you look, even last year, you had some fantastic face-off numbers and being named a second-team all-conference selection. How about lacrosse as a whole? When did you start playing the sport, and why?
I think I started playing it when I was in 3rd grade, I think it was, and it was because my sister played lacrosse too, because I think it was 2010, sometime around there, was when my hometown started up lacrosse, so I picked it up, and fell in love ever since. So I love the physicality of it. I played soccer, and it's a mix between soccer and hockey, as a lot of people say. So,
and your hometown's up in Minnesota.
Yep, Owatonna, Minnesota.
How has lacrosse, I guess, grown in that area? Because obviously here in Wisconsin, it's gotten there, but it's taken some time.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same way back home too. I mean, it takes time. It's awesome to see over the last 10 years and how huge that it's gotten, and they have your travel teams too, even outside of like high school sanctioned sports too. So
well, I saw in your bio, which you can read at CUWFalcons.com. In high school, you broke the school's ground ball and face-off records. The team won a couple of conference titles. What do those accomplishments mean to you when you think back at what you were able to do at the high school level?
I mean, it means a lot, but I'm just thankful that I was able to accomplish those things with my teammates. I wouldn't have been able to accomplish those records or set those records without my teammates too. So
I saw too in football. You're part of a couple of state championships, back-to-back state title teams. What are your memories of those football teams, playing for those teams?
Those were probably some of the best years of my life playing sports. I was playing football and lacrosse with some of my best friends. So definitely memories I will cherish forever. So
what do you think about those football teams? What made them so good?
I think just the fact that we would put our bodies on the line every Friday night, or lacrosse Saturday afternoons or whatever. We were just day in and day out practicing, film sessions. We were just lifting sessions. Even we were just testing and putting our bodies to the limit, I think. So
obviously here there are a couple of guys that play both lacrosse and football. Gio Nolatarski, one of the first names that come to mind. Did you ever consider playing football at this level?
Me personally, no.
No?
No.
That was a quick no.
No, yeah.
I never thought about it.
No, I don't think so, no.
So how did you end up here at Concordia and playing lacrosse?
Well, one of the main reasons was through my travel team, Coach Fahey reached out to me because he saw me at a few tournaments that he attended, and then obviously the great education program that they have here as well. So I think, and then they have the faith aspect here as well too, which is huge. So they knocked off 3 check marks for me. So.
And now you've been here, and all of a sudden, senior year upon us. Has your role on this team been pretty much the same? Has it changed in your 4 seasons?
I think it's changed. My first 2 years were kind of slower, obviously, with COVID, my freshman and sophomore year. But I think last year especially, I kind of started gaining more respect from those upperclassmen. And then, obviously, this year being elected captain, I've kind of taken that role on of being a captain. So
we're going to talk about the role of being a captain in a moment, but you mentioned the COVID and kind of a slower start to your collegiate career. Did that help in just adjusting to the speed and this level of competition?
Yeah, I think so. It did suck. I'm not going to lie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah.
Now you last year finished with 90 ground balls. You had a 61.3 face-off winning percentage, named a second team all-conference selection in the NAC. You look at last year's success, net for you and obviously for the team. How did last year maybe impact your confidence? Because obviously now you're playing a bigger role, having a bigger impact on the team. You mentioned gaining respect to your teammates even more so. How about from a confidence standpoint? How did last year help you prepare then for this?
I think looking back on last year, it just kind of shows, gives me confidence in showing, how good I really am. I don't like to brag about myself a whole lot, but, receiving that second team all-conference definitely gave me more confidence coming into this year, too. So.
And now you're captain. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. My teammates elected me, so they obviously see me as a role model in some way. And obviously the respect aspect too. So,
do you find pressure being a captain? Good pressure, but do you feel pressure?
I did in the fall when I found out that I was a captain, I was like, wow, I'm a captain now, I have responsibilities now. But we have an awesome group of guys here, and I love every single one of them, and they make my job super easy. So
let's talk about the great group of guys, whether it be offense, defense. There's some returnees taking on much bigger roles this year. There are also a number of newcomers. It just seems like the chemistry's only gotten better as time's going on. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it has. Last year, even in the fall, the freshmen, they came in here and we all made them part of our big family here. So.
And it just seems like, too, guys have gotten more comfortable. Evan Ledeen now as a regular, as a goalkeeper. You have, obviously, Max Esposito doing great things now, second year, and setting a number of records along the way. We mentioned Gio Nowatarski, Preston Meyer, a freshman. The list goes on and on and on. When you think about where this team was in March to now, what do you point to and say, this is why we've gotten better? Is it just simply chemistry? Is it just everybody knowing their role?
I think it's obviously the role part of it too, but I honestly think it comes down to how great we play with each other. During practices we get after it. We push and shove each other, but at the end of the day, like I said, we're brothers. So,
this being your senior year, is this it for you? Obviously, I guess I'd ask that question because you never know in this day and age because of obviously your extra year of eligibility with COVID. But you're done after?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so what's then your major and what's next?
Yeah, so my major is special education, or K through 12 special education. So then I plan on going back home and finding a job back home. So,
well, to wrap everything all up here at this interview, as mentioned tonight, 7 o'clock, a NAC tournament semifinal as the Falcons visit Illinois Tech, looking to avenge Saturday's loss at Illinois Tech. And the winner of tonight's matchup will go on and play for the championship on Saturday against either Benedictine or Aurora, and due to, we'll just call it a scheduling issue, they'll play their semifinal on Wednesday. But I guess to sum it all up, what do you see as being critical? If you guys are to win tonight at Illinois Tech, what needs to happen?
Definitely some more communication, I would say. I think we figured out what went wrong on Saturday. I'm just hoping that we were able to fix that problem from Saturday and look past that for today's game. So
I know I'm excited to see because I think you guys are ready to go and fired and refocus. So all the best to you and your teammates tonight at
Thank
Illinois
you.
Tech. NAC Tournament semifinal at 7. Check out CUWFalcons.com for all the links for live coverage, webcast, stats for tonight's matchup. And we wish them the best as they hopefully will be playing again on Saturday for a NAC Tournament championship. That will do it this week for Falcon Focus. We do it one more time this school year. That's next Tuesday. Hope you'll join us then.